a beautiful day. Fall has just started. It's kind of late September, but we are going to get going here with some outdoor stuff. I just finished refreshing the kids' bathroom, did some work up there, so now it's time to get outside. I came out here last night, late in the evening, and got a good mow. I'm down to 2 3/4, 2.5, somewhere in that range. I know the deck is at 2 3/4, but I have it a little lower, so it's probably closer to 2.5. But you can see I mowed it all down. I put the discharge chute on just because I really wanted to just mow it and get it cleared out, because once this dries up, I'm going to be doing a thatch job on it with the tow behind. We're going to go over it with the tow behind aerator. I've got some fertilizer for a different type of project, but we're going to get the lawn all ripped up. And literally, if you look, I mean, it's not in bad shape. It's cut low, so it's got a couple of little bit of brown area here and there, but it's coming in super green. And all I've done, I put Milorganite down about 4 or 5 weeks ago, so it's been doing pretty good. However, these are the areas we got to work on today. So I have this spot basically from the pool right up here to the back of the house, and then I'm also going to be going over here on this side of the deck and on the far side of the deck, everything right near the house. Essentially, I don't have drainage issues right now, but this has just been, since I redid the deck steps, and over here has just kind of been a crap hole. So what I'm looking to do is I'm going to be tilling this up. I'm going to be just kind of breaking up the ground that's there. And then if you see here, I got a pile. I got a bunch of nice topsoil that I'm going to bring in. I'm going to fill in a little bit here. I'm going to fill in over here, up there. I'm going to be kind of raking it back, grading it in, fill it, seed it, put the starter fertilizer down, and we'll go through all of that. And then I'm going to hit a couple of low spots. So I got just a little bit here on a dip. There's a low spot in the front yard I want to grab, and I'm just going to go around and fill. One of the things I did do is I had a couple of sections of clumping fescue up in there at the front. So I went and I just took a shovel and scooped those out. And literally, if you hit those just right, it goes right underneath them and plops them out almost like a pancake. So kind of like taking a cookie off a cookie sheet when it's out of the oven. But we are going to get going with all this today. I got my trusty aged Agway tiller. We got the tractor ready to go with the dump cart. I did put some new wheels and tires on that, so that's ready to go instead of just buying a wheelbarrow. Make life a little easier. This guy is ancient. He's got to be over 25 years at this point. But this machine has been flawless for us. Me and my neighbor picked it up cheap on a tag sale, and it starts right up and does exactly what we need it to. So that's going to be doing a little bit of the breakup. Again, I'm not going deep. I just want to break up that top layer of soil because it's kind of matted down. It's got some slime to it, and it's not slime like mold or anything like that. It's just the ground here is very saturated because it doesn't have a very good runoff for drainage, which we're going to hopefully fix today with some of this regrade. So we'll get to it. Stick around and we'll show some progress. All right, first till is done. Quick and easy. I'm not trying to go deep. Like I said, I'm not building a whole new garden here. I just wanted to rip up what was here, the gross kind of slimy shit that was kind of posted around, some of the moss. Just a quick rip up. Same thing here, up over there, and over there. And so now I'm gonna just kind of take my field rake, yard rake, whatever you call it. Just gonna start pulling that back a little bit, raking it up, because again, I want to fix the grade, and I want to pull up as much of that material before I start just wasting soil and dumping it at random. So the more I can pull that back, then I can use the soil that I top it with as a spot for you know, fixing that grade and being a top layer for any seed. So again, it wasn't that it was a bad area, it didn't have doesn't get a lot of sun there, but I think adding a little extra soil to it, breaking it up a little bit more, and giving it a chance for some roots to really establish here is going to be a big help. So I know it works. I just this year didn't pay a lot of attention to it just because I was working on the playground and making sure the front yard stayed okay. So still fairly weed free out here, so which I'm pretty proud of. But again, with the overseed that I'm doing, I am not going to put dithiopyr down this fall, just because that's a pre-emergent for weeds, and so I'll just wait until spring to do my prodiamine. So that's what we're looking at. All right, now I got to grab my field rake. I got small ones, and I'll kind of show you. Don't mind the shed, it's a little messy. I got these guys. I got 2 of these. I have one over there now I'm going to use, but then I've got this guy, and that's, I believe, 4 feet. That's kind of my my finishing grade. So this will be kind of like for my final grade when the soil is down and I am ready to kind of make that final pass. So this is awesome to have. This is my grandfather's actually. So we're gonna get going. All right, talk to you guys soon. And just working our way through the pile here. Got my metal coal shovel, my garden rake. This thing's invaluable when you're doing material instead of just doing a regular spade style shovel. But you can see I've already done some fill-ins here. I've got this area. I got a little bit more to dump just to kind of bring up the middle a little bit, but for the most part it's been raked out. That little spot there, and you can see a little on the edge. I started filling in because this has kind of grown throughout the years. It started at about here, and every year I've been pulling it back. What I really want to do is kind of just box this out so I can make a smaller bed out of this, and then I'll put a new mailbox in eventually. But at least that'll kind of be cleaned up and then reseeded over there, and then we'll keep going. I'm going to throw a tiny bit of dirt on top of that, rake a little bit over there, and then we'll be moving into the backyard. So I'm just going to keep trucking along. Getting a little sweaty, but it's very nice out. Can't complain about the weather. So one thing, probably part of the sweat, is the fact that I'm listening to my podcast on my headphones, so it makes everything kind of a little warm. But regardless, just using the different types of tools here. Again, this guy right here, just the standard kind of garden yard rake, not the leaf style, which I have over there, but this guy here. So when I'm offloading from the trailer, just to kind of give you an idea of the area I'm working on. So this is what I had tilled up, and I started doing from the till. I pulled a little bit of it back. Not crazy with the grade. Again, I'm not trying to make, you know, several feet of difference here. I'm just trying to help slope and get rid of where that settling water kind of mucks. But did that quick grade, and then I started adding the soil to where I saw that it needed to be brought up. So took care of all of that, and was doing that, you know, just shoveling it out, then tipping it over and raking it out, using this guy, just kind of getting those small spots. And now when it comes to the bigger areas, now that you've got all your little spots taken care of, instead of going back and forth and trying to look and see, you grab a big guy like this, and now you can much more easily, doing this with one hand, help work out. Because again, it wants to sit level, so it'll know what it's got to do to figure itself out. Since again, it's got a wider span, so it can help to work on finding where those low areas are and filling. I'm not trying to be perfect here, but I do want to just kind of give you that idea. So I've already gone through. This area is done. I've now got to move over there. The far side isn't so bad. Didn't need a lot of grading. What it does need is just to kind of, like I said, I already tilled it up. It was already mostly dirt. So it just needed a little bit of extra grading work. Or I shouldn't say grading, I keep saying it wrong. That just needed to be tilled up so that I could just kind of rake it out. So I'm not putting as much soil there. I am going to start just dropping buckets right in front of that deck step. And I'll show you why, because if you walk over here, don't mind the water, draining the pool cover. But if you come over here, you'll see the mess and see where my step is. And you can actually see along the step here, there's the gap. And it's not quite even. So I'm just going to start dumping a couple buckets right along there. And that's really where it needs to fill. Everything else here kind of does everything it needs to. I just ripped it up because it was moss. It was kind of compacted. So instead of me sitting here playing with aeration and everything else, and I've got the fresh seed, just treat it like a new seed. So I just ripped it all up. Gonna rake it down a little bit flatter, and I'll just pile the dirt up along that deck side so it can be level. And like I said, I come over here. That's already pretty much dirt anyway. I'm just gonna rake that out. And if I have any extra soil, some of that's my neighbor's. We went on a split, 4 yards apiece. But the rest of it, I'll be using my my tractor to kind of drive it down the street, 2 houses over to his place, so he could start using it along his driveway. But that's where we are. Once this is all done and down, then we'll get into some fun where I get to just kind of sit on the tractor for a little bit. We're gonna get the thatcher out of the shed. We're gonna do some thatch all around the yard. Then I'm gonna aerate all around the yard. Then I'm gonna overseed it, throw down my fertilizer, and get some water down. And that'll be a good day for me. Just one of the many projects going on, but you know what? Fall's here, so stay tuned. All right, next section is done. You can see I threw a whole bunch in there. I re-leveled out along the step. I'll clean it off later. Went and moved a lot of dirt around, and then again grabbed my big rake and just smooth, kind of, obviously it's not a flat angle because I want the grade, so it comes down, and this all flows downhill anyway. We'll work on that stuff later, but this is just another area that's cleaned out. That's next. I do have soil left, so I am just gonna literally a quick light top dress and just throw it around, and then I'll grab the big rake and I will chuck it all and rake it in and then get it all seeded, and we'll be moving on to our next stop. So that's where we are. All right. So turns out I had a little extra. Probably still actually have a lot extra. I think there's more than 4 yards there, but we'll see where we get to. I know he needs to use some, so we'll kind of start toning it down. The majority of my work is done, so the rest of that I can use if I have it for any type of fill. But I had some just to kind of throw an extra 2 loads over here. Just light. I didn't till this up. It doesn't need to be ripped up. It's just got a little bit of compaction on it, and I just really kind of wanted to fill it in a little bit, put some seed on it and see what we can do. So we're just going to go ahead and take the rake this out, and move on to some thatching. And when we get into thatching, I'm going to show you again. This is a 105. I did put a new motor in it, a new John Deere motor, just this past winter, spring, whatever, before the season really started. But I'm going to show you, this one might be a little bit low on power. I wouldn't certainly recommend having this type of an entry-level model for towing heavy stuff up and down hills if you don't have them. I mean, I go sideways on this hill, don't mind this mess. This has been years of just me not touching it. But regardless of that, straightaways like this, it's fine. I've had no issues. It tows the weight that I throw on it with the thatcher and the aerator. Again, they're not machines. They're not power rakes. They're not power aerators that are gonna, you know, go in and do these crazy plugs. But for what I do and for getting it done without having to rent equipment, bring it home, run it, pay for the rental, the one-time deal, it's gonna work really well. So you'll see that in action as well coming up. Dump cart, this thing's been amazing. I've had that since the tractor. I bought it new, what, 9 years now. I did just put the new wheels on it. I shouldn't say wheels, it's tires and inner tubes. I just ended up buying just the kit from Home Depot, which had just the full wheel already on the rim inflated. Actually turned out to be cheaper than buying separate rubber and tubes. And all I did is I just transferred those out. I just let the air out and I transferred them over to those rims so that they would fit, because these rims have a different and a little bit of an extension on them. So they fit separate, they fit on the axle a specific way versus just using those cheap little plastic spacers that they give you with the wheels at Home Depot. So that wasn't a big deal, switch those over. But again, the dump cart has proved invaluable, so I'm glad I was able to do that and save a little money instead of just going through and dealing with a new wheelbarrow purchase, which could be close to $100 depending on the kind you get. So, all right, we're gonna move into some thatch now. We're gonna get that going. Stay tuned. Back again, getting ready to do some thatch work. So one of the things I did that I would highly recommend is I kept, when I pulled the box out, I built it, you know, off the shelf. I kept the cardboard inserts, and as you can see, this is held up really well. It's not rusting out. It's not all scratched to hell. It does a really good job of holding where those blocks go. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to grab the blocks now that I have. Let's see. This is just more of my mess. There they are. Nope, those are the big ones. I use the thin guys. Those are more than enough, which are in here to get what I need. Here they are. These give me more than enough weight for the type of raking I want to do. These are the thin cinders. Apparently I've amassed a collection over the years. Go figure. But they sit quite nice right there. And then I have these hard rubber straps that I go on and we hook in. Let's see, how do we do the hook in on these? I forget. Yep. We go right here from the corner. I go right over and around. You'll see that. And I just hook it right back in there. That's it. Just that. Just enough, because you hit a bump, you roll around a little bit. You don't want them bouncing around and just jumping. So it just makes it that much easier when you are out there doing the work. You don't have to keep checking them in the blocks to make sure they're in place. It holds them where they are. They don't bounce around. They're not shaking and scratching things up. My OCD, but that works awesome. I do it on both sides. I do it for the aerator as well, but we're gonna get this going and we'll show you how that works. I apologize for the noise, but machines are loud. Like I said, that's why I use my the Bluetooth headsets there. I can't recommend the work tunes enough. But here we go. I do adjust my speed. I try to go between 4 and 5, but what you'll notice is if you go faster in certain areas, this will actually start to wobble back and forth, and you'll hear the springs start to make like a popping sound. They'll go bang, 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 bang. You don't want that. You want a nice, smooth pull. So you see that? It's kind of walking. Versus when I get it over here to a different area, see how it's just dragging nice and easy? That's what you want it to do. So we'll keep going around. We're doing good so far. I apologize for the sun. Again, this is no pro work, but you can see here, that's all been done. I went around all the, that way, all the areas I put the soil down on. This is all the stuff still to go over here. Finishing that up now, and behind me, you can see if I cover the camera just enough. Let's see if we can do a good, there you go. You can see most of that's done. I got a little bit of a strip I'm working on because I'm finishing up the back. And then, so we're gonna finish this down. The goal here is finish the thatch. I still have my John Deere mulching blades on. They actually do need to get replaced. I've sharpened them enough. They've gotten good 2+ seasons, so they're kind of done. But I have my discharge chute on. I've removed the mulching deck on there, so that's not a thing anymore. And so what the goal is I'm gonna mow probably at 3.5 or 3, seeing what we can do. I already mowed below that, so I'm not cutting grass. I am catching the thatch and I'm spitting it out the side. So I'm mulching up whatever thatch is there, spitting the rest out the side. I don't have a lawn sweeper. It's on the list. However, thatching it, mowing it off to the side. Thankfully, I live next to wood, so I can just keep pushing it there. And then I have a walk-behind blower. I'm going to help to push if I get a little clogged up. Push anything else, get it all into the woods. Then we're going to run over it with the aerator and be in good shape. So that's next up. So I'm going to finish doing all of this stuff here. I'm almost done, 5 more minutes. And then we will switch over and do a quick thatch mow on the property. These are the benefits of having a walk-behind blower. 8 horsepower, not a 5. If you do invest in one, I don't care the size of your property, you want one, go for the 8 horsepower models. They are, or more, 8, 10, whatever you can find. This was again, used off of tag sale. Me and my neighbor went in on it, so we got a good price on it, and this thing is amazing. Starts right up. Plenty of power, and you can see everything from here over is done. Everything here is what I've been blowing off. I tried to start mowing it, but I would have had to have literally mowed it twice, so it just wasn't worth it. A little bit of a mud spot there, but that's because I'm draining the pool cover, so poor choice on my part, whatever. Work on it, but everything here has already been blown. This is going to be blown off, and then I'll be done and already ready to start doing plug area. Here we go. All right, guys. So thanks. It's been a long day. I've been out here since basically 10:30, 11 o'clock. Not as early as I like, but you know, family comes first, and that's why I'm shutting it down now, because we're in good shape. I ended up blowing everything off because the mower was just, it was going to be way too clogged. I would have had to go on over it twice, drop the deck. It's just not worth it. So you can see I got a nice little pile in the street there. I got to finish cleaning up and just get out of the way. Everything is thatched and blown off. I'm going to now move into doing a plug aeration. So tomorrow we'll do the aeration. We'll get the seed down and water everything. We're good to go. Thanks a lot. I'll call you tomorrow.